Morning, Mayor.
Good morning. How was your trip yesterday?
Uneventful. That's a good thing.
Good. but productive.
Yeah, well, all I did was leave the thing down there, so.
Well, at least you didn't get there and say, oh yeah, sorry, we don't have the part, huh?
Yeah, well, I've been waiting since November for the parts.
Well, you know, you can't rush into these things. You know how that is.
I know.
Good morning, Mr. Oliver.
Good morning.
Morning, Bill.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Nice
Are we
sunny
all
day.
happy? I'm sorry?
Nice sunny day out.
Yeah. Hey, be worse, you could be in Texas.
Yeah, that's where my daughter is.
Oh, she got power?
They do now. They've been rolling blackouts. They were involved in that.
Yeah.
And they were out of power when it was 4 degrees.
Ooh.
So
That's no fun.
No heat, no nothing.
They go to their car, Bill?
No, they stayed huddled up in the house.
Oh.
The good news is you don't have to worry about power for your fridge. Just set the food out on your patio.
True. I don't know that we could do that here, though. I think the animals would carry it away.
Yeah, we have to watch out for coyotes there in Dallas.
Oh, well, that's true.
I'm not kidding. In the neighborhoods, you gotta be careful walking your dog because you'll see the coyotes early in the morning running through the neighborhood.
Wow.
Good morning. How are you, Francisco?
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
TSSB.
I guess we're all the early birds here.
I guess we are.
Holly, given the time that we normally get up, we should just have this at 6 a.m. every day.
Well, that'd be all right with me.
That'd work with me.
Yeah, Dan's an early riser, too. Okay. Let's try it. What the heck?
Might get some criticism there.
Well. Well.
Did y'all get your second shot yet?
Yeah.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah. Any side effects?
Just a sore arm.
Well, my arm's sore all the time anyway.
All my joints are sore.
Yeah. Yeah. I resemble that remark.
Well, that's because you know your boxing career, Bill.
Yeah, it was more of the college athletics that did it to me.
Yeah.
Just wore everything out.
My two
Karen, are you
sons.
trying to hide under your desk or what?
Trying to do some housekeeping. You know, these multitaskers. If we got a minute, we got to take care of something else.
She's probably hiding snacks under there.
Yeah. That's been the problem. We've had too many snacks lately. With Valentine's Day, everybody bringing us chocolate. It's not a good thing.
It's okay. All right, I see a few more people coming.
There's Karen gone again.
Yes, she is.
Quick, duck.
That's her filing system. It's under her desk.
Yeah, anywhere I can find.
That's it. Except for might float there.
And Mr. Morley.
Morning, Ed.
Good morning to all.
You recovering from camping?
We had a wonderful time.
I'll bet.
If you haven't been to Natchez, Mississippi, you at least need to read up about it. It's a really interesting city right on the Mississippi. Really, what surprised me most is how they were really left out of the Civil War. You know, they had no real impacts in that city.
Hmm.
The impact occurred just north of them. in
Yeah.
Vicksburg.
Exactly. But it's a town of aristocrats, and it's probably 51% black, and the rest is white. And it's quite a history of how that slavery ended, and what happened to the slaves that were there. It was really quite interesting.
There's Mr. Dara's coming.
Hey, Ed,
Yes.
can you, I had sent you email and I was just thinking because you were probably out camping, but it had a question to do with the fireworks. Can you go back and
I followed up on that 2 days ago, and then I just saw where Roy also followed up on it, but I'm not sure we understand what's involved with the racks. So I'll talk to Steve Mason today and see if I can get you an answer.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mr. Dara.
Welcome home, Eddie.
It's good to be home.
Where's your suntan, buddy?
Well, you want me to take my shirt off and show you?
Oh,
No,
that's enough.
No.
That's enough.
absolutely not. Wait, let me sign off first.
Be careful what you ask for. We actually did get some sunshine. It was kind of an interesting trip. One day we were running the heater, and the next day we were running the AC.
Well, that's better than running each other. So did we get any ice last night?
I don't
Uh,
know.
No.
We had a thunder this morning about, I don't know, 5:30 or 6 o'clock.
Oh, tell me about it.
It sounded like it hit something on the other side of the mountain, Tim. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
saw.
I was looking over at Good Game's house to see if it was still there. I can't find it yet.
Yeah. Well, I saw the one of the policemen going down Tahoe Lane with his flashing light on later that morning. I'm not sure what that was about, but hopefully nobody was hurt.
Good morning, Martin. Or should I say Mr. Galaxy? I don't think he can hear me yet.
Galaxy. That's his code name.
His
He's
code name.
officially changed his name.
Yeah. He's talking, but we can't hear him yet.
Give him a minute, see if he can
Okay.
correct that before we start.
Hey, Karen,
Sure.
can we show our map in your office? Will it show up on your
Sure.
camera
We'll
on your?
try.
Oh, look, there's Dan.
Oh, there it is. How did Dan get it?
He's special.
I'm special.
Oh, tell me about it.
Can you hear us yet, Mr. Galaxy? No, he's still talking.
Somebody needs to send him a text, tell him to turn on his audio.
Bottom left, you need to unmute yourself there, Martin.
He's
Not
doing
if you
something.
can hear us.
Oh, there he went.
Now he's gone.
So David Spears, he's absent, right? Or am I just missing it?
So far.
So far, I'll send him a text.
Well, there's someone with an iPhone, but I'm not sure who that is. If the person with the iPhone label can send us a message in chat to, if that's you, David, let us know.
Might be, you got a new iPhone.
Oh, Martin's trying to come back.
Can you hear us, Martin?
There he goes.
Just texted David Spears.
Okay.
He may be busy right now.
Give Martin a minute to see if he can get back on. Is there any, who else are we missing, Bill?
I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. I have not heard from the iPhone person.
See if Martin, can Martin read that? It's backwards.
Pull
No,
that back.
it's,
Right
it's
backwards.
good. It's good. He's not on, he's still trying to click on, Tim. Hold on.
I don't know Martin's number. He doesn't know mine, so he wouldn't answer it.
Well, even if he did, he might not answer, Tim.
Holly, I got a message from Smalley. He's listening on his iPhone, so that's
Okay.
probably him, and he's just going to listen, I think.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Smalley.
Well, I haven't got any response from David Spears, so let's get started.
Okay.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for taking the time out to get together today. Looking forward to sometime in the near future doing this in person. With that, Madam Mayor, do you have any comments for the group?
Well, I'm just looking forward to whatever this committee recommends, and we can get all this good stuff started. And thank y'all for everything y'all do for Sky Valley. Your check's in the mail.
Great. Okay. So in the packet was the January 26th minutes of our last meeting. I hope everybody had a chance to review those. If they did, does anybody want to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you. Item 4, want to continue our discussion of the Joint Comprehensive Plan, and really the action from last meeting was to give some thought to that plan after our initial discussion. Also compare that to the property owner survey to see how well that plan aligns. And really the end goal, I think, for us is one, setting some priorities once we kind of figure out if there's anything missing or need adjustment. And we really want to flow that items from the comprehensive plan based on priorities into concrete action plans with some timelines, et cetera. And for lack of a better title, we'll call that our strategic plan. And basically short and midterm. Because I want to make sure, there's some good stuff on that comprehensive plan. There's some things that are quite a bit long-term probably. But I want to make sure, at least from a city standpoint, we are focused on taking actions now that are going to bring a number of those basic or those real important priorities to fruition here as appropriate. So with that, hope everybody had a chance to take a look at that and take a look at the property owner survey, which I attached in the, that was in your packet. So I'll open it up for discussion and, you know, any comments on how well that aligns, or what do we think is missing or need adjustment? So open it up to the committee.
Bill, I have a question before we go further, but have we gotten any input from others outside of our committee regarding the suggestions, recommendations, and priorities?
No, I guess what we have is all the comments that came along with that survey, that really kind of highlighted some of that. But I don't think there's anybody outside the committee. I haven't. I don't know if anybody else has.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No,
One of the things is that the thing that I sent to you and Holly and Ed about the broadband is that we need to make a significant identification that that is a goal. I don't know exactly what kind of language this whole process is going to require. I have a meeting on March the 11th with the two people, one from the I don't know, one from the broadband group and the other one from the DCA, Kathy Papa, and we'll get that language from them. But if we do indeed want to pursue this broadband ready designation, that's got to be one of the principal things.
Right. Yeah, I took a look. It's the North Georgia Network.
No, it's not North Georgia Network. They are.
Oh.
I've talked to North Georgia Network, and they are a whole nother story, and I'll tell you about that some other time. But
Okay.
This is the broadband consortium that I mentioned to you in the email that I sent you.
Right.
It's Deanna Perry is the executive director. It's a consortium of Department of Community Affairs and DOT and Tech Georgia. And that's where all the monies are being funneled through for rural broadband.
Is that the one by Governor Kemp, Tim?
Well, the money that the Kemp thing is, they're waiting, and it may have happened, is that his ask for whatever many million dollars would be put into the budget. Once it's put in the budget, then the money gets funneled through this organization.
Okay. The article I read did not include Raven County in that money. I don't know if we're talking the same pot of money though.
I don't know what article you read. What they tell me is that this is where if we want to get money, this is what Stan Brown said. If we want to get money, we need to start waving a flag. We need to raise our presence. They didn't know we existed and we needed it. So now in their vernacular, I am the broadband committee.
That's good.
And I'm looking for volunteers to help me.
Now if I understand right, we have to be designated a broadband ready community to
That's
gain
correct.
access.
and what qualifies as ready?
Well, that's interesting that, you know, I looked at the requirements and, you know, it's not as clear as I would like, but one of the first things is we have to apply, but we also have to enact ordinances. And they've got a couple sample ordinances online that basically kind of define, you know, what it is we want, what are the requirements here, what are the charges, etc. I think there's quite a bit in there that we would have to do, but the first step is to enact one of those ordinances. There's a couple of samples.
I'm going to meet with them, that's what I just said, on the 11th of March to find out exactly what we have to do and how we can expedite this, if you all are indeed interested in doing it.
Certainly, I am.
Well, I think so, because, you know, when I went through and looked at the, our surveys, you know, the internet, and as we know, internet's has always been a priority here, and improving speeds and distribution, et cetera. And that's also called out a couple of ways on the comprehensive plan as well.
Right.
So that, you know, Tim, I appreciate all the work you're doing there. That's great. And I think that's something we ought to keep in the forefront here for sure as a priority.
All right, well, as soon as I have my meeting with him, I can't do it because we're going out of town for a couple of weeks. But when I get back, I'll get the language that needs to be in the comprehensive plan for their approval, and I'll let you know.
Great. Thank you. A lot of work there. Thanks for your commitment.
But while we're talking about that, I have gotten absolutely no response from either Windstream and or True Vista. And the North Georgia network, they keep giving me a runaround. Turns out now that it's the domain of the HEMCs, and I have to get in touch with Habersham HEMC because they're the closest to where we are, and see if they have any interest in bringing it up here. It does cost.
Go ahead. That's the one in Clarksville?
Yes, and it serves all of the lakes in western Raven County. They have a substation down across from Malinker's Barbecue, and that's from which it has to come.
What are you tuning? Oh.
Say again?
I don't know who that was.
Anyway,
I think we lost Tim.
He's frozen. He'll come back in a minute, hopefully.
Is he calling in from Texas?
I don't know. I think True Vista or Windstream must have frozen him.
They're
Not
canceling
only are
it.
they not responding to him, they're just ignoring him altogether.
Oh, he's gone. Maybe he'll come back in a minute. I'll let him back in if he comes back in, Bill.
Okay. We had,
Speaking of needing internet services, yes.
yeah, exactly, right. All right. Anything else?
Bill, did you see the under the chat? I think Alan Poinkowski was asking a question about the good stuff. Have we not shared the comprehensive plan from Raven County publicly?
Yes,
You know,
We probably should.
we have.
we have.
Yes, it was developed by the previous council.
Is that accessible through our website?
No, but it's probably, I don't know, but it is available on the Community Affairs, Department of Community Affairs state website. But of course, we could put it back on we could send it back out again.
Or that, or just link it to the DCA's website?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite detailed. The things that really align with our opinion survey are obviously natural beauty and you know, parts that are on the joint plan that kind of somewhat aligned to that. One is you know, structure assessment and track code violations, maintenance and enforcement codes, you know, things like that. Also related to that are the plan identifies Sky Valley for some conservation easements, you know, a limited commercial district, if you will. Ski lodge development study, design guidelines. You know, they've got a picture of our building on 246 as an example of a potential limited commercial. It's got acquisition of additional park space. The plan identifies Sky Valley for hiking trails and such. You know, the plan has a feasibility for proposed new roadway or gateway corridor. And, you know, I think first step for that is the additional exit we're working on. So, you know, there are a number of things there that align pretty well. It also talks about North Georgia network and completion of fiber optic connections. And interestingly, that plan says that was complete. So I'm not so sure, you know, of the status of that. Although I do know fiber optic does come into Sky Valley, and that's what Windstream is feeding off of. Unfortunately, it's just through those junction boxes, I guess I would call it. And then from that point, it comes in fiber optic to there, but then goes out from there over telephone lines, which isn't very efficient. So,
Bill, Mr. Poitkowski has a comment. He says, when you mentioned the good stuff in the CP, what specifics are you referring to? Would you elaborate?
that's what I was just talking
figured that's
about.
what you were doing. Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Poitkowski. And Carla Stahl says, I would like to help Tim on the broadband issue.
Okay.
I don't see Tim back yet. He's still struggling, I guess.
All
Or
right.
he's still frozen.
All right. Anybody else compare the comprehensive plan to the property owner survey?
Well, I guess I did to the extent that I think we had a very large percentage of those responding that were interested in infrastructure, roads, our ditches, our culverts, and those type things. And now that we have a city manager in place, I guess part of our comprehensive plan should also include a 5-year plan for what we need to do over the next 5 years, so we can start putting numbers to that. In infrastructure, I think it needs to be a top priority. And he covers the whole gamut of roads, ditches, trees, what to do about unpaved roads. I think we've kicked that can down the road to where we need to get that in at least the 5-year plan, what we're going to do there. Striping the roads and landscaping. So in terms of relating the comprehensive plan to the survey, that's one area I think that needs to have a priority put to it.
Yeah, I agree with you, because that, you know, was mentioned several times in the top responses in a couple of areas. So
I think that ties in with that rear exit we're talking about, which I think is critical and for many reasons. One, it keeps the people in the Ridgepole area from being cut off when the flooding occurs on Sky Valley Way. The people in what we are affectionately terming as the outback, and that whole area could be, you know, if we actually had a permanent exit out there, that whole area might start developing. And that would lead to some of that economic improvement that we've all been wanting. So, you know, I think that's a critical area that we need to address.
I agree.
Agree with
Well, I
that.
mean, the very fact that it wasn't the first, what we really like about Sky Valley besides beauty was safety. I think that was part of the survey, wasn't it, Bill?
Yeah, the top 5 things on important qualities. Number 1 was natural beauty, which kind of goes to what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
The number 2 was safety, which is important. And number 3 was a quiet place to relax. And, you know, I kind of made a note, which means limited commercial, right? Not something huge. The 4th highest was well-maintained streets, which, you know, well, goes right to what Ed was talking about. And then number 5 was internet and cell service. I think internet being the big priority. So those were the top 5. And on the 2 of those, some of those are all related to infrastructure as previously was talked about, and then internet. So I've got 3 priorities already written down: internet, 5-year plan for infrastructure, and that rear exit. That sounds like that aligns pretty well. When you go to important infrastructure on the survey, the first one was clear ditches and roadsides, which was underway this year, but needs to be, you know, ongoing. The second highest request was improve internet and cell. So we've talked about the internet piece. Third highest was repair culverts. And I know we're working on that. We've already got a grant to do that one on Sky Valley Way. Fourth was trim trees. The 5th was pave and restripe streets, which we're doing as funds are available. 6, maintain new landscaping, which is the plan. The 7th highest was additional exit, which we're working on. And the 8th was improve road shoulders.
Okay, there's Tim.
Sorry. Little old True Vista failed me.
Yeah, they're trying to cancel you.
They heard what you were saying earlier.
Mhm.
Yeah. So those were the ones in that section that all were well over 100 responses in favor of. And then on preferred amenities, the top 4 by a long ways, the first number 1 was hiking trails, which, you know, I think is an initiative that would be great. We've got those. Don't know. I don't think they're as well identified as it could be or promoted as well as it could be, et cetera. But that was the number 1 response. The second one was a country club. Have that. Number 3 was a fitness center. So I'm not so sure, you know, we have one if, you know, under a membership plan. So I'm not so sure why, you know, that's a preferred one. And I don't know that it needs improvement or what we should do there. And then the 4th one was interesting, was an amphitheater. And I didn't quite understand that. But I kind of tied that maybe to the commercial district. And then under desired development, there were 2 that were by far and away the most highly rated. One was a commercial district, and the other one was a conservation easement. So those were the top items in that Sky Valley survey. And like I had mentioned, there are a number of things in the comprehensive plan that either directly relate to that or kind of sort of relate to that. So I think that those are all online. So, you know, again, what I want to try to accomplish here is, and we've started that list of all those things, what do we believe the most important and the most critical that we should make sure that we have significant action towards. And again, I've got internet, the 5-year plan for the infrastructure, and the rear exit.
I have two comments, Bill. First of all, the amphitheater was discussed several councils ago as something that they thought would be a wonderful venue to be here in Sky Valley. And unfortunately, I think it would involve purchasing some land from Harrison Merrill, but that's where that came from. And Ed, have you heard anything more from the engineering reports on the culvert on Sky Valley Way yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
And I think that I thought that you were having a meeting maybe with our new city manager who has ended up resigning, but we'll get that back on the front burner.
Okay. I didn't know if you had heard anything from Mr. Lackey or not.
I think I reported the last time. Yes, I heard from him, and he should have been out week before last. He was trying to get a couple of contractors to come out with him to assess and give us his opinions as an engineer.
Okay.
But now that I'm back in the valley, I'll follow up on that.
Thank you, Ed.
So back to your comment about purchasing land, you know, you're absolutely correct. It looks like if we were ever going to try to do even some limited commercial area, probably the prime area there would be where the old ski lodge is. And that would require either Harrison to develop that, or perhaps, you know, we would have to purchase that and then attract the developers ourselves, or some other hybrid of that. Any ideas there?
I think the property they were thinking about, this was several years ago, was the property behind where they were going to develop the second golf course behind the post office area is what they were originally talking about. But that's Harrison Mayor. Yeah.
For a commercial district or for an amphitheater?
Amphitheater. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think an amphitheater, the big issue that you'd have with that is that, you know, that kind of venue is going to want to have a concert or a play or what have you that's going to bring a lot of people in at one time. And how are you going to control traffic?
And where do you park it?
Where do you park? How do the people get in and out of Sky Valley? It's, you know, all that has to be considered at the same time.
Certainly.
Well,
And the noise.
Well, Dan, I think what you do is you build it to scale. You build something that, say, only seats 500 people. That would be all of Sky Valley on the 4th of July. So, you know, then you're not going to have, hopefully, then you only have 200 cars. Yes, you're going to have parking. I think it's a great idea to have local talent come and have a concert series every Thursday night or something. The night that nothing else.
Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see it. I just think that we've got a lot of.
I don't think it's, you know, we're not going to be pulling in some big time rock band. You know, if you've ever been down to Little Falls, they've got every Saturday night, they've got a little bluegrass thing. And it's wonderful. And there's probably not more than 40 or 50 people. And they've got the equivalent of a little seating area on the ground. And
yeah, they do the passion play down there too every year.
I mean, it's, you know, those kinds of things. And I think this is something that somebody ought to get involved in, that is looking for something, and go and talk to Harrison Merrill and see if he's willing to be our partner in this.
I think that's a good idea. The other amphitheater that comes to mind that I've seen is the one in Peachtree City. I don't know if anybody's
that's
seen
a nice one.
I haven't seen that.
That's real well done, and I would guess it's somewhere around 500.
Yeah,
maybe a little slightly bigger than that.
That's
and
very
that's
nice.
the thing. And that's the thing, Tim, with Harrison. You know, he's kind of a visionary and a visual person, and you know, I think before we would approach him with that, we kind of have to have a real solid concept. Here's what we're looking for. You know, maybe a rendering or something visually that's kind of thought through significantly, and he might actually want to do something like that at that point and partner with us.
Do we have a topographic survey of that tract of land anywhere?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Eddie,
Good
you been back
question.
up in there? How's it lay?
It's pretty, it's not, it's all buildable, you know, where it is. I mean, just from what I can see from the road,
Yeah.
it looks pretty conducive to something like that.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Galaxy to look into that. He's with us now. That would be you, Martin.
We still can't hear him.
Can't
Can't
hear
hear
him,
him.
but he
That
can
may
hear
be a
us.
good thing after that question.
Well, getting back to,
He's trying to talk, y'all. Can you hear us, Martin?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you
There
hear
he
me?
is.
There
Okay.
you go.
I thought you could hear me all this time.
No.
I've been talking to Storm up.
So what do you think about heading up an investigation research of that particular project, Martin?
Yeah, I could do that.
All right.
That'd be great. And, you know, I really believe, and I talked to David Spears a little bit about overall development and what to do with Harrison, and he's the one who indicated, said you need to go to him with something, you know, more substantial than just a conversation.
Concrete.
That would be fabulous. We'd name the venue after you, Martin.
Oh, great.
It's going to be called Galaxy Tab A8.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
well, just the reality is in terms of finances, the city is barely able to meet our existing needs. So anything like that, we'd have to come up with some kind of funding option for it. On a similar subject, though, and I throw this out for suggestions, but I think we all are pretty much on the same page that we would like to see some more development as far as properties are concerned, probably in the condominium categories.
Right.
Harrison, I think, has indicated that if the right proposal, he would maybe sell some of his land. But what can we do to reach out to maybe some developers and let's try to entertain some folks coming up here and taking a look, see about building some more condominiums.
I understand a couple have already been here looking. Is that not correct, Holly?
Bill's talked to both the possible developers. I'll let him answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, one was mostly interested in the building on 246, potentially to purchase that and then develop some sort of, you know, from a commercial standpoint. He also, in a second conversation we had, you know, was open to thinking about doing something with the condos, but he has since not, you know, said anything. And he doesn't live here full time. He has a house here, but he lives in Pensacola. We could reach out to him. That was Lamar Braswell. And then the other gentleman that David Spears and I met with was interested in the ski lodge and maybe repurposing that and turning it into some sort of, you know, the commercial, you know, like a coffee shop or maybe a community center, etc. And he took a look and was going to come back with his son, who owns a construction company near Lakeland, Florida, and they kind of disappeared from that as well. So we could reach out back to those two for sure to get something started. I think at the end of the day, we need to be able to talk about potential incentives for anybody to come in and develop. That would be important, especially since we're so seasonal.
I think it'd be important to find out as well from developers that decide not to develop here is, what the issues are, and are they something that we could possibly address?
Right.
Mhm. Didn't, one time when we did have a discussion with Harrison Merrill and his son, Bill, we expressed the idea that we thought condos were a hot selling item and a needed entity here in Sky Valley. And he kind of sounded like he was interested in possibly developing that himself. So that is something else we could talk to him about.
Sure.
Yeah. And again, you remember his deal was before he wanted to move forward, we had to commit to phase 1 of a sewer system.
Right, right. That's true.
So, and then
Well,
David
anybody
had
that develops a condominium here is going to have to either have a sewer system or they're going to have to put in their own package plant.
yeah. Well, and that's the
the
other thing is,
The EPD won't allow them to do a package plant.
I'm sorry?
The EPD won't allow a package plant with all the capacity that already exists at the bottom of the hill.
Really?
Yep.
Well, there went that idea.
yeah. Yep.
So was there
You
an
know,
estimate? Go ahead.
We keep talking about we don't have any money. So, here I go. Somehow we need to create a fund. And I don't know whether or not, does it mean that there's something service that we provide to this community that we need to get rid of and channel that money somewhere else? We can't just keep talking about it.
True.
God forbid we have one less policeman.
Well, I think that goes back to let's work with our city manager on a 5-year plan, including the things that we think we're going to need over the next 5 years. At least that gives us a base then to decide where we can go for revenue opportunities.
And whether we consider a bond issue or something like that also.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a solution. Get some debt and figure out that this development will repay that debt.
Right.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Part of the Merrill proposal, though, was to do some type of a comprehensive survey, I guess, of Sky Valley, and he wanted us to pay for half that. I'm wondering, should we reconsider doing something like that would give us a basis for talking to various developers about building here?
Yeah, his was not a feasibility study. It was
I couldn't remember the name.
yeah, I can't either, but it was related to skiing primarily to see if that was viable. But again, I think you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, two things for sure. One, to attract anybody to do anything, we have to have some data that all of this. Then they would do their due diligence and do their own feasibility study, et cetera, and then decide whether that is going to meet their investment horizons as well. So it's the big thing is seasonality here. That's where that's why Harrison really wanted to redevelop the skiing, because that creates any of these development activities. But what I keep hearing from everybody that we talk to is, we want to do some development. We need to increase the tax base, but we don't want to just, go so big that it hurts some of the other some of the other attributes of the quiet, natural beauty, et cetera, et cetera. Is that how way you guys understand it?
I would say that's
Yeah.
my sentiments.
Yeah.
One of the other things, just in talking to my brother-in-law, Scott Poss, is that there's a dying need for product all over Rabun County, but there's not many people. The banks still aren't willing to lend money from the last time I heard Jamie talking about it. And there are very few developers that have got deep enough pockets to do some spec stuff. So we're at the end. I don't know what's going on up in Highlands. Does anybody have a sense for what's going on up there?
No.
Whether it's any new development?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. The challenge is with those capital markets like that. I mean, even if a bank does decide to lend, the LTV is going to be so low that the equity that the developer has to come up with is massive. I mean, like 50-50 probably. And
I
that
think
kills a lot of deals.
You know, the more I think about it, if we did something like Martin's going to work on this amphitheater, that's going to be something that'll kind of put us on the radar somewhere. People come to these small concerts and say, hey, and that's, you know, that's, as Ed knows, that's why I'm here, because I came to your beer festival. But and then you quit having it. So Ed's never bought me a free beer since. So
I gave you a good sales pitch, though.
yeah, I did. Then you introduced me to your wife. God bless her.
And you still do.
So, you know, I don't know. That's my sense.
Well, I think we just need to have a conversation with Harrison Merrill too. We haven't talked to him lately, and I'm sure COVID and all that has had a lot of, you know, economic impact. Although
Yeah.
I think we've had a whole lot of visitors because of it, but still we have a lot to do.
But we've had a lot of golf players, which has been a wonderful thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Golf has exploded universally.
Yep.
We've got our fair share.
Yep, that's a fact. Highly rated facility too. All right. Well, the last time I talked to Harrison, he wasn't doing any personal or in-face meetings until a vaccine was ready. I had on my, I'll give him a call just to check in, see how he's doing and what's going on. It'll be interesting to see how COVID has affected his whole investment horizon with Foxhall.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
to see if he's even still, you know, on the path that he originally was when Holly and I first talked to him. And, you know, you know, in the meantime, I think, you know, the action items, we've got to put together, you know, kind of a vision of what we're looking for from a development standpoint. And I don't know exactly the components are there, but Holly, you and I can talk about that, and maybe we'll get David involved.
Okay.
Because David really understands Harrison's motivation, and
We
see if we can't
can,
come up with something that would pique his interest, and see if we
Right.
can figure out a way to get this moving forward.
we can
And
always set up a Zoom meeting with him.
Right. Yeah, one of the things that I thought was interesting that he wanted to do was kind of, you know, present his ideas to the group. He wanted to do the whole council or maybe this committee, et cetera. We could do that via Zoom now,
Sure.
just to get the conversation restarted if everybody thinks that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that.
I think it's
Yep.
good idea, Bill.
Yep.
All right, let me see if I can, I'll reach out to him and see if I can get that conversation restarted. And then we'll reach out to Lamar Broswell and see if he's still interested in doing anything, and to what extent, and you know, see if he's still interested, and we can go down that path as well.
Okay. Tim, can you explain to me why we can't put in a private sewer system? I mean, were you given a reason?
Yeah, you get a permit by the EPD,
Uh-huh.
and they will not permit it when there's so much capacity that already exists down at the bottom of the hill.
Okay, I understand. Okay. And do we have an idea of the cost of that? To go down the
$5.5
hill?
million.
$5.5 million. Woo.
That's the
Okay.
old plan, which seems to be very functional, plus, you know, upgraded cost of another $1 million.
And that would give everyone in Sky Valley
Nope.
access,
No.
or just the valley?
No,
Just
just
the
the
valley.
commercial. And we
Okay.
give the timeshares, the condos, and the club, and anything new that's kind of in that bowl.
Okay. Which would include an amphitheater?
Yeah, it could very well.
Good.
Yeah.
You know, this is the concept, is that you have a collection point behind the old lodge. And as we all know, when it floods, that's where it floods. So that's the kind of the lowest point. And we would have to get Mayoral to sell us some land. It'd only take a couple of acres. And then you pump it from there out along Ridgepole and down over, you know, the back road and into the sewer treatment plant at the business park.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, got some action items here. Get those captured in the minutes and distributed to everybody. In the meantime, I'll reach out to Harrison and Lamar, see if we can get those conversations started, see if we can set up maybe a Zoom with Harrison Senior and Junior.
And Mr. Galaxy will be working on his proposal.
Right. And then we'll continue.
I'm back in mute.
Huh?
I
What'd you
said
say?
I'm back in mute, so you can't hear me. I said a lot of stuff.
And then we'll continue our conversation and see what other conceptually we can come up with. We also need to, like, to Tim's point, start talking about how do we fund stuff, fund these things. And because obviously, I agree, if we just keep talking about this stuff and nothing really happens, our tax base is going to stay our tax base.
Right.
And you know, our costs of maintaining everything are going to continue to go up. So, you know, it'll eventually come to a point where, you know, some services will get cut back for sure. And we don't want that to happen ever. So it all can be solved. We just got to come up with you know, a good plan and then convince some people to partner with.
And
All right.
our auditor did remark on our low debt ratio, so that certainly will help us.
Yeah, I think we're what, at 14% or something like that.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Very, very low.
Yeah.
Her comment was most municipalities are around 50% or more.
Right.
But
And that's
again,
not, yeah.
but again, you know, you got to. It'll take some effort to do an ROI on any of these investments and funds, especially if you're going to issue bonds. You know, will we be able to make good on those based on projected tax base increases, and revenue increases?
Everybody's going to want to know where that money's going to be spent, so we'd have to have a plan.
Yep.
It might be the kind of thing that we got to carve out a niche to get a consultant to come in here and put a package together.
That's a great suggestion, I think.
Yeah.
Or we can talk to the Department of Community Affairs and see if, you know, they've got anybody that can help us. Do we talk to Kathy Papa?
I don't know her, Tim.
Okay, she's our representative at DCA. Next time I talk to Stan Brown, I'll talk to him.
That'd be great. And surely maybe there's some money we can plug into somewhere.
Okay.
Tim, I think you were frozen at the time, but you got a volunteer to help you with the broadband, and I think it was Carla Stahl there on the
Yep.
screen.
Okay.
Tell her there's big money involved for her salary.
Well, I got frozen out. That was what I just wanted to finish my conversation. I've talked to the North Georgia Network people, but the guy from Lumpkin County said that if they had to put it in, which would mean all new poles, it would cost $30,000 a mile. So that gives you an idea. He said that maybe HEMC, the benefit for using them is they've got poles already existing. But they don't come up this way very far. They did run it up to the business park, and I can't remember, but I do remember the development authority got a grant for over $100,000 to pay for that. So we will continue to work on that. But if the one thing that we all need to keep in mind is if you've got the copy of the email that Debbie Dahlhaus sent us about Starlink, that's coming down the road in 2 years. And that's the one where Elon Musk is putting all these low orbit satellites. And you're going to have a receiver about the size of a dinner plate on your house that will be able to get at least 1 meg down, or 1 gig. I can't remember what.
Yeah, 1 gig.
I have to reread Debbie's thing. But even some of the professionals agree that why are we worrying about cable and other ways of delivering it when this is on the horizon?
Boy.
And it required no investment on our part.
Yeah, the only question that comes to mind is line of sight. You know, because with all the trees next to houses, I just wonder the efficiency in an area like this of having a satellite dish.
Well, I got a satellite dish for my TV and it works great.
Yeah.
The other thing is that we have, thanks to Karen's due diligence, we have this new map. And Dan has one too. It shows shows all the broadband. We have a big copy mounted on a board at City Hall. It's 3 feet by 4 feet. So you can read all the cities, all the street names and things like that. And so we need whoever's in contact with the real estate industry. There are these size maps available. What are they, Karen? $5 a piece?
Yeah. That's
They
great.
could buy them and they could mount them, and it pretty much would tell them everything they need to know.
Ollie, let's get that in the next Sky Valley Times.
Okay. You got that, Karen?
Yes.
Karen did I can't say enough wonderful things about Karen and how she bird dogged this and got it all working and came out with a wonderful product. It's just, if you're down at the City Hall, they let you in, which is sometimes not available, but you can go in there and see this thing. It's a masterpiece.
Tim, it's just you they won't let in.
I wondered about that. They made me stand out in the cold the other day waiting on Karen to get off the phone. Alicia, I think, has a weapon.
That's undercover, Tim. And on this map, would you describe what is on this map for everybody, Tim?
All right, it's got the coverage, the broadband coverage by both Windstream and True Vista. And then it's got color-coded what the speed is. I have learned that the standard to be covered in the state of Georgia is 25 meg down and 3 up. If you've got that, as far as the state of Georgia is considered, you're good, you're golden. So we have that everywhere thanks to Windstream if it works. And then we have the True Vista coverage, which is not as complete, but it's 250 meg when it works. So it's a simple, kind of simple. I showed it to Jamie and she was able to figure it out. So she's
careful.
Okay.
Is that enough? Do I need to go? I'd really like for everybody to go by and look at it. Like I said, it's a masterpiece that Karen's created.
Well, I think one of the things, Tim, is important for those folks in the valley that are not getting good reception. They could be in a situation like Holly was, where they weren't pulling for the right station, and so it took a while. It took persistence, but they were able to get their speeds up.
Yeah. They
Well-
had me connected to a station all the way down at the lodge where I had a station like I could spit on from my house. So I originally was getting 6 megs for my internet, and now I get 113 simply because they switched my station.
But I have said many times to anybody who complains about Windstream, if you're in the True Vistas, take it, go for it. I mean, Don Barber always is complaining he can't get all the messages out to the congregation because his Windstream is down, but he doesn't want to make that conversion. I don't know why. There's nothing you have to do other than make a phone call. And it doesn't cost any more.
And speaking of phone call, Tim, Carla has listed her phone number. Do you see the comments?
I don't see it. Carla's not up here, is she?
I think she is.
Is she?
I will email you her phone number for you to
Well,
contact
just
her.
to email her my phone number. But
Okay.
I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, so.
Okay. All right, I'll do that. Carla, if you have a property owner's book, he's in the book.
I do have one, but I'm not sure it's current. I'm not up there. I won't be there till May. But one of the things that I keep getting the runaround on from True Vista and True Vista said I fall outside of their, like, I don't know what the term was she used, but it basically means their legal coverage area, which is so silly because there's 6 or 7 houses up there and somebody's building a brand new one. And then Windstream has a box that stops at Knob, but that has better service than what I have, but they won't extend it down our road. We're like, it aggravates me because, we pay all the same taxes, but we get short shrift sometimes from the city on things, and then definitely from these situations like Windstream and True Vista. I don't understand why that is a border there, but.
Well, Carla, it's not, the city doesn't have anything to do with it.
No, I know, not with internet. I understand. I'm just saying other stuff, but yeah, we fall outside of I don't know what that term she used was, but we're part of Sky Valley. We are part of the city. So it's frustrating.
True Vista is not going to expand. They bought Northland Cable. They got coax in the ground. They're not going to touch anything else. And we can't get anything out of Windstream. They won't even return calls. So they're interested.
Got it.
The only thing I can tell you is that move.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I just bought another lot and I'm going to build another house up there. I'm going to, I've looked into satellite too. There's Rockies, out of Franklin, which no doubt but it didn't seem better. Although I might try it this year, we'll see. But anyway, I'm happy to help you, Tim, in any way, make phone calls, do whatever, because eventually this stuff will get solved. But how long will it take is, an issue, and it will be an issue continuing. So.
Well, like we've been talking about, Starlink should be here in 2 years.
Oh, I had not heard that. So that's wonderful. Yeah.
I think that's an aspirational goal, though. Again, you shouldn't stop looking into the other in case Starlink doesn't pan out.
And I'll send you Tim's number. I'll email you his number, Carla.
Okay.
Bill,
Okay,
could
great. I
just,
had muted myself. Thank you, Holly. Bye.
You're welcome.
Let me backtrack just a little bit on when we start talking about setting priorities. There's a couple of things in the surveys there that were mentioned, and I think that's also in the Raven County Comprehensive Plan. But hiking trails are a positive amenity that we have here in Sky Valley.
Yep.
In years past, we've had people like Bob Larson and others that have taken it upon themselves to try and maintain, particularly like the Raven Ball Trail. But in terms of an action plan, we ought to reach out and see if we can find some volunteers that would kind of head up the maintenance of our trails, because that's not something the city can do. Other than the city can help with the Mud Creek Trail. But I'll remind Bruce and others that the POA offered to contribute to doing some upkeep to the trail, but it required that a little action plan put together to show how that money was going to be spent. But we're going to need some younger folks that can still make the climb to help take care of some of the trails here in our area.
As you know, Ed, Kathy Turner maintains kind of a informal database of hikers around here, and she might be a good source of names.
And she can talk to the chairman of the special projects committee that could help. Since they live in the same household.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Ed. Thank you.
I'll follow up on that one.
All right. Well, I think we got some marching orders here. So is there anything else we need to discuss?
Maybe,
All right.
maybe our next meeting can be in person.
Well, I have two ideas. I would agree with that. But if I reach out to Harrison and he wants to do a Zoom with us, maybe that's our next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you guys think about that?
Yep.
I think that's good.
I do
Okay.
too.
That, and I do believe that even when we do start meeting in person, we should continue to broadcast it on Zoom for those people that aren't here.
I agree, but unfortunately, we don't have a place that has good Wi-Fi where we can meet in person. That's a problem. I think we should do both too. I agree, Dan. But the two places we've used have not really good Wi-Fi.
Right.
Unless we do like the school systems and put a Wi-Fi device in a school bus and park it next to the building or something, or on a city truck or something.
We'll just use your phone as a hotspot.
Yeah.
Put it on the garbage truck or something.
And I know, go ahead.
In the CBC church is 25 megs. So I don't know. What is everybody that's online now? What speeds do you have?
I don't think I have 25.
That's what mine is.
Yeah, I have about 113 to 118
So
at
we'll
my
meet
house.
at your house.
Then we just meet at my house. There you go. And I have to say, I do like face-to-face meetings, but we seem to have more people attend on Zoom.
We can try it. We can try a face-to-face and see if we can test it over at CBC.
To see if we can do a Zoom at the same time.
Yeah.
We could try it.
I can tell you, on Tuesday, we have Bible study there, and that's Zoomed.
Okay.
Well, our last meeting, wasn't David over there? And he didn't seem to have any problem.
Yeah, he was over there. Yeah.
How many of us have had our second shot?
Me,
All right. And Ed, you're getting yours Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
When are you going
we'll
to
give
be
out
65,
t-shirts.
Karen?
Pardon?
When are you going to be 65 so you can get it?
On about 40 years? No.
Woo!
We'll have
Karen, I don't
we'll have
understand.
t-shirts.
He was being very nice and complimentary, and then he had to end it with a big negative.
Right?
All right. Well, stay tuned. I'll let you all know the outcome of my conversations, and then we'll go from there.
All right,
Okay,
Any motion to adjourn?
no move.
second.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Stay warm, stay dry.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bill, do you want to do a next meeting date?
No, I'm going to wait till after I talk with Harrison.
Oh, okay.
All right. See y'all.
Okay.
Bye.